got something going here. Audio check, audio check. Audio check. 1, 2. Is it coming through? All right, I think we're good here. I don't know if I'm going to click on that. Click on that. I'm not doing anything. That's what it's made that. All right, let's get into it. That hotkey. What is its problem? Hey, folks. Welcome back to Shirley Sound Studio. My name's Martin. You can call me Marty. This is my show, so let's go. What are we talking about today? Well, the inevitable evolution of money. Where we came from, where we're going, whether you like it or not. So you best prepare for it. And then we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart first, though. Tried to do this video yesterday. For some reason it got smashed. Try and do it again. And geez, see if we can survive for another 10 years here with this financial system that is crumbling, falling apart. And yeah, so let's start off with the Bitcoin price. Let's zoom out here. Let's go to the daily. Let's go to the daily. Still in the DCA zone here. So if you've been following along, you know we were not buying up here, nowhere near. We were waiting for this box to get hit. It's been on here for quite a while. It's nice that it's come down as expected. Prices were high, strength was getting lower. Price comes down. Strength is getting low and it's coming higher. Haven't really taken out these lows though. So I think what's happening right now is we got the whole war in the Middle East thing, and it's like this the straight, now they're accepting Bitcoin. If you want to get through, they're not accepting US dollars, they'll accept Chinese yuan and Bitcoin and maybe a couple others. I don't know, do your own research. But that's what I heard. And so and that makes sense looking at the charts, because if we go to an exchange and we see a negative funding rate, this is actually getting better. 0.25, that's not too bad. So a short might be coming, but not yet, because as long as we're negative here, that means that the spot, well, it's for multiple reasons, but most likely the spot price is higher than the futures price. So that means a lot of people are buying spot Bitcoin to hold and to use, not trading. Most of the time when we look at things like the heat map and liquidity, we're looking at trading futures Bitcoin, which is why it's so volatile, because it's tradable. When Bitcoin becomes just used, it will become less volatile. right now it's very nice to trade because of the volatility. So that's why you have so much trading volume happening. And if you zoom out to higher time frames, go back decade and a half, we can see that the extreme highs and lows are getting smaller. Price is getting higher, it's consolidating, maturing. Okay, it's not going to be as volatile. You know, we had 600% there, and then we had like 350% here, and before you had 1,000%. So diminishing gains as well as diminishing retraces. It's just a maturing market. It's very, very clean, actually, if you look at this compared to any other massive energy stocks going back to early 1900s, some 1800s. They're all over the place. Oil, when it first hit markets, was absolutely insane. No structure, just sporadic and manipulated. This is attempted to be manipulated, but it's just so perfect that it just continues doing what it's going to do. No matter whether you like it or not, whether you think it's going to be a big part of society or it's going to go to zero, it doesn't care. It just continues to do what it was designed to do because it's based on math and it's backed by math. And so it's removed from human emotions to a point. Of course, we're into it. So the price swings that you see are a lot of the time are because of human emotions. But this is, as far as human emotions go, being tracked, this is pretty smooth, pretty nice. And so this is actually something to point out here, is that the weekly is crossing into the green now, as officially as of the candle close last night. So probably a good chance for some relief here. I was in the short. He's closed the short this morning before major pumpage. So, you know, didn't take as much as we could have, but a win's a win. I was waiting for a little bit lower for some of the TPs to get hit. That's the way she goes. Still is a win. Not a big win, but win's a win. But ultimately and overall, I'm fearing and kind of assuming and thinking kind of what this looks like to me is that we will see a little bit of a relief rally, and it could be as high as 85K. Let's turn on our visible range volume profile here, and we will see that still, even back when we were charting this and we figured we were going to come back and retest this area because of this inefficiency, still this inefficiency remains. And quick move up, bounce, quick move down. So it needs some time to play in here and get things sorted. When you see these quick moves up and these quick moves down, first of all, quick move up, a lot of buy orders got left and didn't get filled. Quick move down, a lot of sell orders got left and didn't get filled. So likely come up and start hitting into those sell orders. There's people with a lot of sell orders that because of the quick move, they didn't get filled. Most likely. And I mean, if you look at a liquidity map, in the 80 to 70K range, you've got some right up there at 74, understandable. But let's go back a year. This is another thing too that I was looking at this the other day, and it is not as exponential as I think a lot of people are talking about. They're talking about basically that being the bottom and then a massive bull market from here, and I understand why, and it's because money printing. Basically, a lot of people's theory is that the monetary policy is forced to money print. They're out of time, basically. And I mean, to some extent, they're right, but I think they're going to try and kick the can a little bit longer simply because they want to get more assets. And so as long as they can continue to cause issues to push the markets down, they are buying. And so what, like we saw negative today, massive spot buying over futures. So there is a lot of incentive for the price to go lower for the people that want to accumulate it and have the power to push it lower, which is kind of what leads me to believe that's what's going to happen. Because yes, you're right on the basis of like money printing should happen, because things are starting to fall apart, and that's what they do. They push down until they can't push down, and then they start printing money, and then we go off again. It does the same thing over and over again. Boom and bust, boom and bust, boom and bust. There hasn't been a change for a long time, so you kind of got to go with what works and what's just been repeating over and over again, the pattern, right? And so there's really, yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's really not that much liquidity in this area. So maybe we come up and grab some of this liquidity and sweep this high and have everybody get really bullish around 78K. And then it just gets dumped on, right? So like that would make sense. Let's look at the chart. 78K. If we are on the weekly time frame, 78K is actually right around where the weekly 21 moving average is, and around this confluent area. So this is actually also a previous support resistance area. So maybe this whole area doesn't get filled. Maybe we only come up to the 78K, maybe the 80K, maybe just shy 80K. I bet you a lot of people probably were hoping for 80K for sell orders, and then they'll start sliding them down as price gets close but is starting to struggle. And that's when you look for a short, when you see a impulse move and then that impulse move lose steam and then start to reverse, because what's happening is a bunch of people have sell orders or orders that aren't quite getting hit, and they're like, come on, and then they just keep sliding their order down and moving it until it gets hit, which continues to push the price. And that's why the market moves the way it does, because of traders. Now if we go down, yeah, so might have a little pop here in the green, but it doesn't look like it's a super steep, and this was only a super, I don't know, this if you go down to like a smaller time frame, you get these big waves, and then you get a little one, and then the big wave. There's a perfect example right there on the hourly. And so this is what I love about the charts, man. This is like, you can't make this stuff up. It's so perfect. We shorted because we were high in the green and we were diverging. Strength was coming down, money flow was coming down, momentum was coming down, but the price was going up. So basically market makers are just pushing the price up to try and liquidate the shorts, because the move that's coming is down. And then we talked about this yesterday, but I'll go over it again. This break of structure right here is your get out of the trade. That's technical. If you're long, or if you're longing or whatever, that's your stop. You got to get out there, because that's the loss of the break of structure. So that happens, and at the exact same moment that happened, this happened after Vice President JD Vance says the U.S. failed to reach a deal with Iran during negotiations. So, I mean, really? I told you that, like, we could see that we took the short here, and then they come up with a reason afterwards. That's just another example of reason, like, why I want you guys to pay attention to the charts if you can, because the news happens after the charts. The charts make the move, and then they give you an excuse on the news. But just like the weekly, big in the green. This is down to the hourly. The same thing happens on the small time frames as the large time frames. So this is what is leading me to believe we see the big on the big green, and then we break into the red for a small, and then a small green, and then that's the actual low coming in down here. Okay, so now if we go back to the weekly, big into the green, little into the red, little into the green. Could the same thing repeat? I think it's a high probability. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube that looks at the charts and says, oh, that looks like that. Maybe it'll do the same thing. And it works. So, sometimes, anyways, let's just say, do your own research. Always do your own research. Education and knowledge is power. Don't listen to what other people do. Learn how to do it for yourself, and then you can solve problems all the time. But yeah, like, imagine if this does the same thing, big into the green, little into the red, little into the green, and then big into the red. That would kind of be what I wouldn't be surprised, right? That would make a lot of sense if we just came up a little bit higher, maybe swept this high, maybe a perfect SFP liquidity grab, maybe stays up here for a couple days, and maybe even breaks this trend line here, and then people start saying, okay, it's on, and everyone gets really bullish and then that's the failed bullish move, what actually turns out to be a massively terrible bearish move, and just wrecking everybody. Even when they're talking about mainstream media, people talking about how things are going on blockchain, and like, get ready, which it is. Don't get me wrong, all that stuff is happening, but like the way that they like to present it and the way they like to screw everybody along the way is do something like this and then take it out from under your feet, and then everybody that lost money is like, screw this is dumb. But then guess what, by next year you have no choice and it becomes mainstream whether you like it or not, and then, you know, by that time we're already way up here, and this was the bottom, October 2026, right? Who knows, just an assumption, but it's what I've been saying since we were, I think, right around here. So far we're like bang on. See how she goes, boxes and boxes, boxes on boxes. But on the contrary, the good news is over the long term, because of course this is the evolution of money, right? Soon I will be on South Park, just so you guys know. Soon, do your own research. That's gonna be my line. Do your own research. Come on, Trey Parker, if you're watching, if anybody knows Matt Stone or Trey Parker, get me on South Park. I'll be the do your own research guy, or whatever, something like that. I'll have a saying. I'm totally into it. Super fun. But this is what's happening right now, right? So this is the market, the Bitcoin, the digital blockchain thing, like that's being integrated into everything right now. Is it a $2 trillion market cap? It's actually quite a bit lower right now. This was made obviously when it was higher, but you know what? Let's see, what is it exactly at? It is 1.45 trillion. So yeah, it is lower. Just had to do my own, I had to double check I had to do my own research. Okay, I had to. That was my gut feeling was right, but I just had to double check. Okay, so the gold market is a $35 trillion asset class. The global stock market is a $140 trillion asset class. And so basically what we can see here, and what we have been seeing, NASDAQ dump, massive gap left behind over the weekend. So big, this is interesting. Honestly, pull a quick fib on this guy on the DAC here, a little daiquiri, ND, can't even get it because it's not on the screen, but basically in this area here, you want to be potentially looking for shorts, because you can keep your stop tight as far as a risk to reward ratio goes. If you were traditional stock trading and you're looking to sell, you might be able to take some profits in here. And this is like, you know, if you have been in for, you know, if you've been in for a year, then you're in the green. You should still be in the green. But this right here is kind of a red flag because this is a break of structure. So what happens here is if we get a rejection here, then that's it. Like, as a trader, if I was looking for a position and this was something I would be interested in trading, I'm not trading the NASDAQ because I'm not a crackhead, but I would be looking for a short up in here with an invalidation above this high, because then that's cancels your break of structure. What you basically want to see is a high, a low, a lower high, and then in for the lower low. So the trade you're looking for is the rejection, the lower high, looking to take out the liquidity below this low. That'd be your trade. Massive gap left in here. This to me looks like false move Monday. We could see false move Monday. There might be some positive news coming out later today. Who knows? It might be already. I don't pay attention. The news is always late. It doesn't really matter, so I don't care. But yeah, this could be a simple liquidity grab before actual break of structure here, and we go lower. And see, that would make a lot more sense for Bitcoin to go lower, because there's a lot of people calling that was the bottom. I don't think that was the bottom. And if that was the case, then this was the bottom for traditional stock markets. And I just don't see how, if the markets keep going, okay, it's possible, but if the markets keep going up like they have been, then that hyperinflation is right around the corner. Like, we can't see these markets continue to rally like they have been for the last, 10 years or so. It's been insane. Let's go to the 3-day and just zoom out on the NASDAQ. Like, these climbs are insane. This is This is your warning flag, folks. This is your warning flag. Okay, look at the stock market. Let's go back to like the 90s. Okay, like we're like sideways. If you go back to 90s and the 2000s, okay, it takes 10 years of sideways price action. When we make a high and it comes down and goes sideways for this is kind of how it was designed. Like this again, this is an issue. This was an issue. There was something going on here. .com bubble, right? Tech innovation, internet, boom. So this is kind of like what we're going through right now. But because of the tech and because of like this won't happen again, unfortunately, because everything would default and they just don't let that happen anymore. And because of the interest on the debt that they're forced to print. So something like this, where you see 2003 year bear market, that's crazy. Like that's mathematically, everything will fall apart if something like that happened again, because of the interest. The interest payments would wipe everybody out. So it literally makes no sense. Like, and I know what you're thinking. If you're starting to be like, what are you talking about interest? It's like every time they print money, they have to pay the interest. Again, why I feel like interest rates can't go up any higher, because if the interest rates go higher, the debt compounds faster. The debt's already compounding faster than they can handle. So this is, I guess they call it stagflation. No bueno, not good. It's the problem that they are causing so that they can provide the solution. And the solution is the digital era. But traditional stock market, maybe this something that does happen in the traditional stock market, but that would be because everybody is going into Bitcoin and going into digital, and everybody is on the blockchain. So I don't know, like this, the NASDAQ will eventually just be on the blockchain. It's not gonna be a transfer of everything in the global stock market going into Bitcoin. What's gonna happen is everything is going to be on the blockchain. Bitcoin is going to grow because of it. It is the superior asset. If you do your own research, you'd understand that long-term store of value, it's the best performing and will continue to be because of math, because of the monetary policy that is against it in value, and because of math. So, it will grow. These will even out. There's going to be money coming out of traditional stocks and going into this, because capital rotation is is the name of the game. It doesn't really matter what it is. People just want to make money. There's a lot of people that don't care about Bitcoin for the long-term value. They'll just take it as it runs up. So all they're waiting for is a bottom to come in, and they're going to be back on the train again for the hundreds of percent gains or whatever, tens of percent gains even. So, but there is a lot of people that are actually being forced to use something like this because their native currency is completely lost value due to currency debasement and inflation. So it's happening all over the world. It's inevitable to happen to all fiat currencies. So your US dollar, your Canadian dollar, they will all inflate into nothing. It's just a matter of time. It's not a if, it's just when. And it's all about whether they decide to turn the money printer on or not. If they hold off on the money printer, stop with the stimulus, and actually create a recession, or have a recession, because you got to think about it. Like, our society is basically propped up by fake money, the whole thing, right? Because without fake money, we're back to bartering, farming, we're back to trading, living. But the society that we live in now, that's controlled by the controllers, need to keep it afloat by keeping the money circulating, because that's the only thing that's keeping society working the way it works. And it's not the only way that it works, okay? It's only happened for the last 100 years. Societies have been going on for thousands of years before this. And now there has been other societies that have chosen this path, Rome, stuff like that, and they choose to implement currency, and eventually it fails, right? So we know that the same thing's going to happen again. But this time we have digital money printer. So we don't even need the paper, because a lot of the time they used metal back in the day, and that's why it fails, because they simply ran out of silver or gold or whatever token they were, whatever metal they were using for their token, they ran out of it, and they couldn't, so they started cutting, right? They started cutting them in half and stuff like that. But this time, if it's digital, we can just press a button, technology. So with technology, we're entering a different era. It's going to be different. I don't think it's going to be a complete collapse. And if it is, it's by design. You always have to understand that. If there is a complete collapse, it's by design. It's because they want to accumulate as much as they can. What alert was that? We're crossing. We're breaking the high. Breaking the high. Okay, so if we're looking for a trade here, I'm not looking for a short just yet. This looks pretty bullish. I wouldn't long this either. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning and I was like, dang, break a structure right here. Should probably long. And we failed to break below the 1 hour 200 moving average. So I was like, should have longed. But I was like, whatever. Just rolled over, went back to bed. And then I woke up. Damn. You gotta be kidding me, man. Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut. But yeah, nice little pumpski here. We're gonna wait for, see what we got here. So little bear div, but look at all the volume. See, man, like this is the spot crypto price. We've got a lot of people buying Bitcoin today. A lot. That is significant. And so obviously the buyers are, well, this was Friday, I think, or this was Friday. That was Saturday. This was Friday. So yeah, we had a lot of people selling on Friday. High volume, but price ends up coming down. And then over the weekend, nobody's buying because it's the weekend. And this is all institutional nowadays. And so over the weekend, it dumps because it was really easy for somebody to sell a lot of Bitcoin. And, you know, mess with the news and mess with the people. And look, so it turns out that your news event is now almost completely retraced. So this is the node right here I'd be looking at. So that was my, oh man, if we SFP this, I don't want to take the short too early. We've got some signs here, some signs of potential short though. This is not, is that, oh man, that might be the golden pocket. Looks like it might be the golden pocket. Yeah, it is. It is the golden pocket. Dang. Well, look at that then. Money flow. Yeah, no, I'm not taking this one. I'm not taking this one. You might get this might bring you back a little bit, but this might only take you back down into here, if anything, and then probably a little bit of an inefficiency here. Actually, not really. Kind of looks okay. A little bit of an inefficiency down here, but if it comes back down here, I'd be looking for a long. That's why I have this alert down here. This liquidity sweep down here. If we had like an SFP, a little bit of a bounce off of this area down in here, and a continuation looking good, I'd go for a long down here. I'd go for a short up here, but we're gonna wait. It'd be nice to make some structure in here. Okay, settle down. We don't need that. Well, we're just playing right here, just taunting me. If you see some structure, up, down, and kind of like go sideways for a little bit in this area and maybe have like an SFP and then come back down, then we'll look for a short up in there. But that might be tomorrow. That might be later tonight. Could be some time. Big impulse here. Clearly a lot of people buying Bitcoin on spot. But still ultimately people that are going to be selling up here and some sell orders that probably didn't get hit in this area. So if we are going to continue lower, and we just see the structure where we have a high, a low, a lower high, and a continuation of the downtrend to take out the low liquidity, I wouldn't be surprised, and I will be looking for that on a trade basis. On a spot basis, you DCA in the DCA ranges. But yeah, like purchasing power of 1 Bitcoin in 2010 compared to today. So we know that they're using it in this situation. That's pretty crazy, right? It's a world reserve currency, whether you like it or not. It is borderless and not shackled or sanctionable by any one person or group of people. It's very valuable in that way, and for people that have a lot of money, that's really valuable, very valuable. And to people that have a lot of money, value is more valuable than to people who have no money. And that's why the rich keep getting richer, because you take somebody that has, you know, $500 to their name and they're waiting for their next paycheck. They can't afford to just invest $100 and lose it, right? They can't afford to. But someone that has tens of thousands of dollars to their name can invest $100 here, $100 there, $100 here, $100 there. And it doesn't matter if he loses it all because he's got plenty to work with. So that's why it is what it is. So the unfortunate situation is if you want to get out of that, well, then you have to take a chance, take a risk. The cool thing about Bitcoin is you can do it $10 at once. This is financial equality. You don't have to have, $80,000 to put a down payment on a house to own an asset that's going to appreciate against inflation, right? You can buy Bitcoin at $10 at a time in your DCA ranges when the strength and the momentum is looking low and the fear and greed is looking low and people are feeling like it's the end. You just DCA along the whole time and you don't worry about anything else. I mean, you can arguably DCA any day if you want to. If you don't really want to pay attention to it, you can just DCA for the rest of your life and you'd be fine. Mathematically, it seems like it's gonna work out for you. So, but the evolution is inevitable, and because of all these reasons, this will be the future store of value. We already know that. If you watched a couple videos ago, and we're going to the moon, it was actually a distraction because on the same day Canada implemented their stablecoin act. So it's like Canada's going to the moon the same day they're doing their stablecoin thing, and the bill passes. Like, come on, guys. You think they line these things up to happen on the same day just by chance, by accident? No. But man, this is the situation that you're dealing with if you hold in fiat. Let's have a look at this. Have a listen to this. Have a listen to this.
What else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this.
What was that hot? Hold on.
What else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you.
What did she say? How do we fix inflation?
What else?
What else are you going to do
to
fix the problem with inflation? What are we going to do? What are you going to do? What's she going to say? Probably don't even have time for this. She's going to say it.
Thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up. And
She sounds like me.
families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more.
What are you? She asked
And
you
we
a
have to
question.
understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
You're defining inflation? We know what the problem is. We're asking you what you're going to do about it. My
That's
goodness.
about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a
Just
heavy
make sure I
weight to
move my
carry.
hands
So it is
around and then
something
they'll
that we take
forget
very
what the
seriously.
question they asked.
Very seriously. And we know from the history of the
Like, it's
situation of
brutal,
the
man.
United States that when you see these prices,
She doesn't ever answer the question. Like they never answer the question. Nobody ever answers the question. You guys got to figure this out by now. Right? Nobody ever answers the question. They're there to just freaking BS you. And I don't even know. I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't take me very long of being in this situation, being like, huh? Nah, that's not for me. That doesn't work out. It doesn't work by design. It doesn't work. It's terrible. And honestly, like with technology and how fast things move these days, man, ain't nobody got time for your bullshit. You're stuttering. Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, man. More taxes. More taxes. More taxes. And that's all they're going to do. That's all they're going to do. The government doesn't make money. They take money. Or they create it, I guess. That's a good one. A crooked tree lives its own life. A straight tree gets turned into wood. What's your choice? That's funny. Smash the like on that one. No, it's just a funny little, some imagery. Let's listen to this one. This guy's probably good.
Because that's
Because I actually didn't listen to this one yet. I put this on here so I could check it later. Let's see what he says.
As I said before, keep your eye on one thing and one thing only, how much government is spending. Because
Wait a minute. How can I keep my eye on one thing when you don't move your teeth? These guys, keep your eye on one thing. And is he a ventriloquist? How can I keep my eye on one thing and one thing only if it's not your teeth, bro?
as I said before, Keep your eye on one thing and one thing only, how much government is
He must have just come from the dentist. See, he can't really move his mouth. I get it.
spending. Because that's the truth.
Sorry.
As I said before, keep your eye on one thing and one thing only, how much government is spending. Because that's the true tax. Every budget is balanced. There is no such thing as an unbalanced federal budget. You're paying for it. If you're not paying for it through it in the form of explicit taxes, you're paying for it indirectly in the form of inflation or in the form of borrowing. The thing you should keep your eye on is what government spends. And the real problem is to hold down government spending as a fraction of our income. And if you do that, you can stop worrying about the debt. As I said before,
Pretty straightforward, really. And yes, the government spending is unnecessarily large. Even if you cut the government in half, nothing would change. But it is definitely a big issue because no one's doing anything about it. So like, oh yeah, sure, I'll hire my friend Bill to be a wall looker or a paint dry starer. Like literally that's what they're doing. They're hiring people to do nothing just so they can take more tax dollars. Because if they continue to add to the budget and they continue to apply for a bigger budget and they continue to get a bigger budget, it's like, oh man, it's no good. Oh yeah, because of inflation, we need more every year. But you're not doing more every year. You're doing less every year. It's not good. There is another way. Dang. Oh, my order could have been my alert could have been an order. We'd be sitting pretty here. Dang. What to do? No, I'm not shorting just yet. Yeah, they're on their lunch in the east. So I might come back after a few lunch meetings and be like, dude, you know, some big wigs, some suits could be talking about Bitcoin right now in their lunch meeting. They're going to come back to the office after lunch and boom, up she going to go a little further. I'd like to see a massive red volume. That'd be nice. Massive green, pretty big red, but it'd be nice to see like a volume that comes like engulfs this one, but red. That'd be nice for a short. But who knows, man? Could be up for the next couple weeks because of the medium time frames trying to flow up, crossed over into the green. Honestly, no, that doesn't look too good. So yeah, this is a downtrend, break of structure, uptrend. Yeah, this is a good area to be looking for shorts, and then you can have your stop above there because this could be a up, down. If this takes this, then if this takes this high, then your uptrend continues. Trend is your friend, but maybe not an official break yet. So yeah, I'm in no positions currently. I think that's about it, folks. I think that's all I was talking about yesterday. Yeah, that's what happens to fiat currency. Turns into sand. And yeah, no Bitcoin, no Bitcoin equals no control. So eventually that will happen, right? Eventually, right now, people like Bill Gates, $100 billion, they have control, and they have, they can push anything, and then they can donate and influence with their money behind the scenes. But that's only because of people are still accepting U.S. currencies and other fiat currencies, but every day less people are accepting fiat and more people are accepting crypto or Bitcoin specifically. So no BTC, no control, and that's just gonna it's going to be how it's going to turn out. Those people that have a lot of Bitcoin are preparing for the future. Those people that have a lot of gold are also preparing for the future, but preparing for the collapse of society back to a barter system. So that's the way she goes. That's the way she goes. All right, folks. I'm going to go have some breakfast, I think. I think it's about time to have some breakfast. Been fasting for quite a while. Love fasting. Makes me feel so good. Fired right up. Have yourself a good day. Smash the like button. Subscribe. Stay up to date with the Bitcoin price. Educate yourself. Do your own research. Knowledge is power. Life is energy. Everything is. Bitcoin represents energy. It's definitely one of the coolest inventions of our time as humans. Doesn't really matter who made it, where it came from. It's here. It ain't going nowhere. So learn about it. Study, study, study. Ain't nobody gonna teach this to you. You gotta do it on yourself. Or subscribe to his YouTube channel, right? Alright? Ha ha ha. Alright. Love you, peeps. Love you. Peace. I recommend putting your opinions aside and learning how to think logically